Hello and welcome to the FACEIT show, the stage 3, part of the 2015 league with finals at DreamHack Winter 2015. I almost said 2013, Dan. I have no idea why. That's Dan. How are you, Dan? That's great. I'm James. Let's look at the schedule and see what we have coming up today. We have 5 matches for you, as per usual. Boom! So you can see we've got HellRaisers versus Navi on Cobble, then HellRaisers Fnatic on Cash. Sorry, Envy, not Navi. Someone did that before. Who was it? It was James Duffield at LAN. TSM versus Titan Overpass. TSM versus Nip on Dust 2. And NIP versus Envy on Mirage to end. So lots of action. Again, lots of open maps actually. Cash, Dust 2, Mirage, and a bit of Cobble and Overpass to mix things up here, which is always good. But seriously, Dan, how are you today?
I'm okay.
Why don't you take us through the rankings to see how these teams are doing currently?
Yeah, well, it's only getting a little bit interesting now that we've had some games played, because we've been in the early stage of the league, but we're starting to get into the midway point, and already TSM have qualified. So that's the first thing to note. TSM are already through to the FACEIT LAN. They've been having a ridiculous spree at the moment. They're on a 22 win streak, 22 map win streak right now.
Nice.
It's pretty awesome. However, they are playing Titan and NIP today. That said, I mean, we can go into that a little bit more before those matches, but yeah, their odds on those matchups are pretty good, to be honest. And so, I see TSM. But we don't even consider them at this point, James. They're just good. They're good. Envious, they're not too far away from qualifying as well. Of course, Fnatic. They're not in their usual shape. Typically, they dominate everything online, everything, just completely all of the leagues. But this is not the case anymore. And this is why there are question marks around their performances, because not only online are they suffering, they're also suffering on LAN recently. And it's actually surprising to me how well G2 have been doing in some of their matches. But I feel like they are 3 and 5. And a lot of the matches they do pick Train, and we see them able to play very well there. They're able to play very well on maps like Dust 2 and so on and so forth. But I'm not sure if they're actually going to edge it out here. Virtus.pro have barely played any matches so far. But as far as the two bottom teams, HellRaisers and Titan, well, it's really weird with Titan, because I feel like Titan should be doing so much better than they are. We saw an amazing game from them yesterday. In fact, who was it? They beat was it Envious even on Mirage?
Yes.
Yeah, it was Envious on Mirage, and it was a really awesome match, to be honest. One of the most exciting matches. We had a great day of matches yesterday. If you missed something, you absolutely need to go and check it out. And lastly, just HellRaisers, who are second from bottom, just above Titan. They're playing with a completely new lineup. It's really crazy. When I was looking at all these matchups here today, it's hard to really, because predictions and so on. Trying to building expectation is based on past results, data. We don't have much of that for HellRaisers because their lineup is so new. Adding in Stiko, adding in Oscar, so it's such a new team.
So we have 2 player spotlights today. The first of which is Apex from Envy. Envy in 2 matches today. Dan, what can you tell us about Apex?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday Apex went absolutely mental. I mean, just wrecking everybody, especially on Dust 2. And this guy is such an aggressive rifler. When he's really on point, then you got to be really afraid, because you don't know what he could do. You have no idea what he's capable of. It's a little bit like when Shoxy pushes up mid. It just catches you off guard. You just don't expect it, because it's got this level of confidence. It kind of shouldn't work, but the level of skill there really creates a situation where it does work. And that's kind of what Apex is like. And that's what we love to see. If he keeps this form up, it's going to be really impressive to see him in all these future matches, because yesterday was just so awesome to watch.
He has looked super strong in this new lineup, and again yesterday he was absolutely beating for his team. Super dangerous. Envy looking like they could potentially end up being the best team in the world. Again, they're going to have stiff competition going forwards, but we will see. It's exciting times here in Counter-Strike, especially with Apex, one of the players leading the charge here for this French side.
Yeah, absolutely. Just when he's firing on all cylinders, I mean, if you just look at all the other players on the team as well, it's ridiculous. It's just utterly just absurd. The skill there, pound for pound, is potentially the highest. It's nuts, absolutely nuts. And speaking of which, he's one of the players of potentially one of the best teams in the world. One of the other players we were gonna talk about as well was Karrigan, because he's the in-game leader, but sometimes he looks like the best player in the world on the best team in the world potentially.
Indeed, Karrigan always ever dangerous. Going back to stage 1 finals, I think he was, if I remember correctly, I think he was a top fragger, or he was in the top 3
Yeah, he was the top. I think he had the best stats.
Yeah, and the most spectacular things we would see from him would be on Mirage with the AWP, for example. But now we're seeing him on Dust 2 doing even more just savage things, going through double doors and just completely dismantling teams on his own.
Yeah, the whole middle entry dynamic from Carrigan, that is just his baby. It looks like he's just completely uncontested when it comes to this. And, you know, he's just so good at everything when it comes to AWPing, but particularly, as you mentioned, the aggressive stuff. And that's so interesting because that's one of the hardest things to do. It requires the most skill, the most flair, and yet he is the in-game leader, and he can do this stuff. And he's so key to TSM for this reason that you see on the camera, pushing up, taking control of this middle area and completely just wrecking the opposition, getting this team into that B split, or, you know, just causing a distraction. He's so good at that.
Yeah, and that was a perfect example from very recent matches there, just absolutely dominant through double doors. And he snaps at people so fast as well. Very good eye across the whole screen, obviously, you know, looking towards window, then getting quickly towards door. So again, Carrigan, ever dangerous for his team. Those are the two teams with just solid fraggers from top to bottom, really. You know, Xyp9x, again, he raised his game recently as a support player for TSM as well. So we should be in for another evening of interesting matches here in Europe. It was pretty brutal if you tuned in yesterday. I mean, really savage games on Dust 2. We had 3 Dust 2s yesterday. That was pretty good. I think it's time to get on with the Alpha Draft pick stand, which I believe you are going to be doing once again.
Yeah, so Alpha Draft is, you know, today I was thinking about, it feels like a TSM day to me. So I think we should just go in there with TSM straight away. Just pick Team TSM, Team Solo Mids.
TSM versus Titan, TSM versus Nips.
They're on a streak, James. I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh, well, today their awesome streak will be broken. I don't want to be that guy. I want to believe that their streak can continue. I want to believe that another team is capable of 87-0. Of course, it's very far away from that. And, well, you know, you just got to hope. You got to hope, James. So TSM, we get them in there as a team. And that means also I want to pick some TSM players. But we have to be careful because there's not a lot of money, James, and they're incredibly expensive. But Device, you've got to have Device. We've got a Dust 2 for TSM coming up today. Also an Overpass, 2 maps where Device is awesome, very key. On Dust 2, just AWPing all over the place, especially middle. Speaking
of Overpass, we do have a recent POV of Device playing on Overpass on FACEIT.com YouTube, so make sure you check that out.
Yeah, excellent to watch if you are someone who wants to look at the long dynamic, especially how he plays off of Dupree on that long dynamic. That's something that's awesome, like really cool to watch, very interesting how they play tactically off each other. But, you know, I wanted to throw Xyp9x in there instead of, you know, a player like Dupree, because Xyp9x is also so reliable on Dust 2 if one of his teammates is just generally not performing. Same with Overpass, Xyp9x always seems to be quite efficient. He always seems to stay alive. He's always a very key man on the A bomb site for Dust 2 for TSM.
Speaking of Xyp9x, he said to me that if I get DMX to open the LAN Finals, he will join him on stage.
Nice.
You know, X go and give it to you. You got to get Xyp9x on there as well, right?
Nice. Well, yeah. I mean, he's got that reputation right now. You know, people are saying best support player in the world, and so he's our second pick. Device, again, you know, that statement went out there. Is he the best player in the world right now? So we've got 2 very very accomplished players. Carrigan, as we just were talking about, I've got to throw him in there. There's only 1 envious game. Oh, actually, no, sorry. There's 2 envious games today. But I had to make a choice between going for envy players or TSM players today. And like I said, I want to believe in their 22-0 that they can continue. So all the money's going into TSM here. So we've got our Team TSM pick, our 3 TSM players.
Carrigan just gone full-time as well, finishing his exams, past his whatever he was studying.
And guess what, James? It's going to be a Dust 2.
Nice.
So we get to see more of that AWP entering through double doors, which is so glorious. So next, you know, I guess it's gonna have to be it's gonna be pretty hard because we have a lot of money. We just got 3 really expensive players, but I think Fnatic players should be pretty good to go with here on the money. So we get Olofmeister and JW in there. I think those should be 2 good ones if we can afford that. I think Olof and JW. I mean, Olof is you know, usually a pretty good pick, and JW's should be able to deliver on cash with the AWP. It's a pretty awesome AWP map. And lastly, I guess I think we can afford Oscar. So yeah, we can afford Oscar. So look at that, James. I'm pretty gangster when it comes to these picks.
You've literally spent all the money.
Yeah. And
I respect that.
HellRaisers, they're playing against Envious and Fnatic on Cobble and then Cash. And I do not expect HellRaisers to win those matches, but Oscar, I'm hoping he's got a little bit of the simple factor there, because if we looked at his value there, it's kind of low. It wasn't like a super top table pick, but we know his individual skills kind of nuts, and he's quite a new player as well. So at any point, I think this guy could break out and do some great, crazy performances, and hopefully win us our alpha drafts.
Yeah, so it is actually. I like the HellRaisers matches today because again, we can't really go too far on past results. For HellRaisers, we have to wait with bated breath and see what they have to offer with this new lineup. And then again, there are the dynamics of that they will be a surprise on all these maps to the teams they're playing against as well, which will work in their favour. So we'll see how things work in the short term for them, and then in the long term, once everything's calmed down, how things will continue. In other news, Dozier did announce that he is going to be starting a new team, and I think he's playing soon with Mo and Adren, the Kazakhstanis. So I don't know if that's part of the team. I would assume it will end up being that way. But really, who knows? And who will be the fourth and the fifth? Apparently, Dozier's brother Fox is maybe floating around.
I'd say that they would get some players from Kyrgyzstan, but hey, they've created a team now out of the nations team. They are now a team, from what I heard.
That's pretty cool, isn't it? Don't you think?
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's pretty cute. I like that. But yeah, so how do you feel about this? Are you happy with self draft? These choices, James? Did we do a good job?
I don't care, mate. I just get to. All I care about is the unicorns.
Okay.
You do the alpha draft. I'll do the unicorns. Especially after that risky thing you did yesterday. Well, it wasn't really risky, but I mean we were all in. But we have a lot of unicorns now. Anyway, so the question today.
Oh, I know this. I know the answer to this. It's easy, Jay.
Which archer seeks to destroy Diablo? I think it's Demon Hunter. I've never played Diablo.
It's Sylvanas.
Okay, well, fine. I guess you know the answer. Give me my coin.
What?
Oh wow! Well, this is not embarrassing at all.
Oh, that is embarrassing actually.
Wow,
because I just confused the universe. Sylvanas is from Warcraft, James. I'm pretty sure Demon Hunter is also there is also Demon Hunters in Warcraft 3.
How is it ever?
But it's a Diablo question, James. Not a Warcraft 3 question. I didn't read the question, James.
How is it ever?
But Sylvanas is super hot, James.
How was
if only you knew.
Will you shut up? How is it ever not going to be Demon Hunter? It's just the most obvious name for a game, and games are often obvious.
Because, James,
you're a muppet.
I am a massive muppet.
Okay, so who are we going to bet on? Let's have a look.
I feel really bad about that.
HellRaisers versus Envy. Oh my god, look at the odds on HellRaisers. Okay, we're doing that.
James, I feel really shamed right now.
As you may have noticed, I have made tons of unicorn. So I would propose putting 10 on. I'm not going all in on this one, but how much would we get if we put 10 unicorns on? I think you maybe have to click something on the left. I don't know. Yes. Okay, so put 10 in. Ooh, we could win 43. Yes.
Wait, which HellRaisers match is this?
Versus Envy, I presume on Cobble.
Yeah,
HellRaisers Envy on Cobble.
Well, it is your choice. That is obviously very risky.
It's my choice. Well, I haven't gone all in, Dan. That's the thing. I notice it's risky, which is why I haven't gone all in for once in my life. We are going to confirm this. I'm ready.
I mean, it is interesting.
Can we go to the marketplace? I want to see what's going on. When are they going to put that big unicorn box on?
I'm never going to live down this trivia thing because.
Oh look, they've got a Zowie mouse. What do they? It's Bungie.
Mouse Bungie, yeah.
Bungie. That wasn't there yesterday. I'm still waiting for this big box to come in. The best part is, right, you see this box that says unicorn, it says coming soon. I was sarcastically saying, what is this box? And Dan was like, what is that box? And obviously, Dan, it's a PC. Unless it's just full of candy or something like that, which would be a humongous troll.
You know, there's not a lot of, like seeing the Bungie here, it reminds me that there aren't as many wire weights out there. I know Stammy uses one.
I've seen a razor wire weight.
Yeah, there's a razor.
But I haven't seen it on their store. It must be old, I guess.
Yeah.
We could put another bet on actually. We've got 60 unicorns, you know. I mean, I've just made so much coin, Dan. Literally. All right. Let's see what else there is. TSM versus Titan. TSM versus Titan is on Overpass. You know what? I'm going to do that. Let's do it. Let's do that. And we're going to bet on Titan. How much do we get for 5? 20. Okay, I'll do that. Let's do that. We're doing a small one because I'm just trying to spread the risk here. There's a fair chance that both these teams will lose. but I want the big one to come in. The big one. So, speaking of the first match, HellRaisers versus Envy. Again, it's an interesting one because there's not much we can really say about the HellRaisers side. Do you have expectations from Envy in how you expect them to play?
Well, the thing is, HellRaisers can win this match. I mean, it's actually out of the, like, if you're going to do like the value bet sort of thing, I think it is actually kind of a good choice because, you know, HellRaisers, or rather FlipSide of old, one of the maps they were the scariest on was actually Cobblestone, and it was mostly because of the way that the Blade was able to use Simple on the map, and how Simple had the freedom that he, you know, all the freedom to use the AWP on the A side of the map as a on the CT side. Now, you know, Oscar, Simple, there's a lot of skill in this team. That we saw that they're a lot more explosive, and their skill sets, I think, do go quite well together to actually make a good offensive team as well as a defensive team on Cobble. I think they could play a quite strong match here, even though Envious do look really, really good. Obviously, I mean, Envious look fantastic right now. They look really, really strong. Like with TSM, they look like the two best teams from all the online matches we've seen lately, and also the LAN results. And but yeah, I feel like there is upset potential in this best of one, especially depending on how the pistol rounds go. I think there is upset potential.
The thing is, I think the way that Simple was used on FlipSide could either go great for them or go horribly bad for them. And I feel like a lot of the time it would be horribly bad because he would get picked off on long A. But I think there's potential, especially with potentially two uppers on the team. There's potential for him to be used over towards B, playing around the fountain area, because I think those are harder shots to hit generally, and he might be faster at doing them. So I'm quite curious to see where he will be placed on the CT side. But also because of the differing styles of he and Oscar, I doubt they'll be going double up actually.
Yeah.
But they could just rotate him around because that is worth something in itself due to his explosive output. It's probably worth him just rotating between positions as well.
And like what I would expect is that Oscar would be generally the, more of a primary opera, and Simple's more of a. I feel like it right now. The situation kind of calls for it right now. Maybe someone makes a call, may have a spawn, kind of using an opportunity-based and more dynamic play style, like you kind of highlighted there. I think that's what we kind of have seen already from them, at least on some of the overpass maps that I've seen them play recently. That's kind of the style that they used. And I'm not too sure about it just yet because I mean, Simple's really good with the AK and just any rifle, but he's also really good with the op. So it's like
I think it depends on the style and the layout of the map, because I think on a map like Cobble or Overpass, you're probably better with more of a World.net or Oscar's type AWP for stability than the kind of risk-reward style for Simple, where if it turns out to be risk and not reward, then your punishment is going to be a lot more severe than it might be on a different map. So we'll have to see. Again, HellRaisers playing in the first two matches, Cobble and Cash. Cash will be an interesting one while we have a bit of time. They'll be playing Cash versus Fnatic. But that's obviously a map where there's potential for, say, double ups on the CT side, A and mid or B. I mean, you can pick wherever you like, really. They're all very common.
The interesting thing about this matchup is that these teams have actually played each other before, once, and on this map, and in this league, meaning that they both picked the map against each other as home and away.
The first map?
This map, Cobblestone. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the last time they played, and it was, of course, recent, so recent enough that the lineup was still the same. It was a 16-12 game, so it was actually pretty close. It's a pretty close game. Of course, it's best of one. You've got to give a little bit of the wiggle room there because of the pistol rounds and the variance. But generally speaking, you can't count HellRaisers out. So I actually do like your bet. I think your bet is actually quite smart.
Actually, that's really interesting. For those of you who are not familiar with our formats, basically there's a home and away system. So the way the veto works is that at the beginning, the away team vetoes 2 maps, and the home team will then pick a map from the remaining 5 maps. That's how the veto works. Everybody gets a chance to be home and away. So the fact that HellRaisers picked Cobble against Envy and Envy picked Cobble against HellRaisers is very curious. And with their recent experience, we'll see if HellRaisers can develop that, and obviously Envy as well. I think. Do you think the match will be won and lost on the CT side for both teams?
I don't know
in
necessarily.
terms of how many rounds they get.
Yeah, I mean, Cobble is a weird one because it is very hard to, of course, to win as many rounds on the CT side. But I don't think it's as punishing as a map like Train can be when you lose that pistol round. We've seen, of course, that effect just repeat and repeat. It is hard though, of course, when you start to be like low on the money and you can't have like the right grenades. Because if the other team is playing smart against you and they're playing rounds where they kind of try to bait out your nades, they've got good defaults where you got like a player like, I like to use the example of like an Olaf Meister or something, you know, going down B plat, the super skill guy that's just like pressuring you so hard you feel like you can't kill him. You feel like if you try to challenge him, you might just die, and you don't want to do that. And at the same time, you know, he's going to just push the limits as much as he can, so that he has a situation where he's not going to die, but maybe he gets a frag. Like, these dynamics really just destroy all of the CT's nades and stuff. But if you don't have any nades to play with in the first place, then you're kind of in a lot of trouble. Because the way that T's will often finish around, if they've not gained significant map control and they lose a player or something, so they go down 5 versus 4, that maybe get picked towards A or something, is they will finish on some kind of B play. Because it's kind of an easy way to coordinate your team. And if you don't have any nades left at that point in the round, it's very hard to hold it because they can get so fast onto the bomb site, and altogether with their backs against the wall and stuff, it can be pretty rough. So, and that's one of the reasons why I like the chances here for HellRaisers, because it's it's kind of a simple map. I think Cobblestone is one of the maps that's a little bit more simple than you know, your Infernos or a map like Cash or Mirage. I think those maps are very complicated in the amount of things that are going on.
So just a few reminders, guys. Make sure you follow the channel, 675k. We will be giving away some falchion knives. I can't remember what they are because I suck. Also, tomorrow we're going to be doing a pilot show based around the FPL. You see, people have recently qualified for us and so on. So we're going to be having a look at how they're getting on and just how everything's going. Going to watch some matches and maybe have some fun with it. That is going to be 9 PM European time tomorrow, so look out for that. We do have North American Counter-Strike coming up later on today. That is in I don't know how many hours. Look on your HLTVs and other things. Just waiting for the last player to join the server here, and we will be into the match very shortly indeed. So you're playing some Counter-Strike today?
Yeah, I mean, my internet really sucks, so I can only play if I can play at all, like at lunchtime or something, because when it gets to like 5 PM onwards, it just it's unplayable. Like the pings go between like 300 and 2000 consistently, so it's impossible to play. Plus, I had a mousepad I got a new mouse, and the mousepad that I had previously did not work with that mouse because there's lots of green on it, James, and the sensor was freaking out. So sometimes it would just stop tracking, and so it's just kind of annoying. So I couldn't play because of that reason as well. And there's no PCs here anymore, so I couldn't play, James. I can only just watch and make videos and stuff and cast. But I played some.
I hear I think by the time we come back from the major, PCs should be plentiful. With that's liquid cooling, I hear.
Don't think that's necessary, but okay. Nice.
Yeah, so I actually brought my PC in today. I'm going to maybe stream between Europe and North America. Maybe. I am a little bit tired, so it might not be a good idea, but we will have to see. We'll have to wait and see. I'm going to try and stream some FPL grinding.
Yeah, we had a caster stack earlier. It was me, Semler, Salicus, Henry playing together, which was quite good. It's quite funny.
Was Henry leading?
No.
No? Really?
No. I think I was joint leading with him on the last map that we played, but the first one I was wrecking all of them.
You were just running in and just quaking people, basically?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I mean, to an extent.
That's what you do when you play with me. Just run around and quake people.
Well, it works, doesn't it?
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Nice. Be cool when we can all play together. Oh, the Staff Cup is coming up soon, actually. The Virtus.pro Staff Cup is coming up. I think we lost a frag bite, didn't we?
Yes, yeah, that's correct.
I don't know. Was I in that match? Was I away?
I don't recall. I think you may have been, but we needed stand-ins. Like Sturmy wasn't there.
Yeah.
I think, and maybe we're missing somebody else. I'm not sure.
We're coming for you guys.
But yeah, you know, something I noticed because I use the same mouse basically for like 10 years or more or less, same shape, and more or less the same pad as well for more or less 10 years, like a very similar thing. So, but you know, I haven't really played for like 4 or 5 months basically at all, and so then having a new mouse and new pad completely, it's like feels like super weird because the sensitivity feels completely off. But at the same time, like if you played enough, like I've played so much, I've played so many games that you just know how to use a mouse, so you can just kind of make anything work. Even though I know that it feels off, I can still like, I know the game and like enough about a lot of the technical stuff when it comes to that stuff that I don't have to rely on the motor memory as much. Just, you know what I mean?
For me, if I have just woken up, I can't shoot anything. I have to I have to like get the derp out, which sometimes
Get the derp out.
sometimes takes like half an hour, sometimes an hour, and then I can actually aim properly. Which was good at LAN. When I went to LAN with Matty and those people, I always made sure we got there early enough, so I had at least 2 hours to just get the derp out, and then I could just play properly. And I played really good. But in terms of aim and so on, because at home I play on a bureau and it's completely ridiculous, and I have to have, because the table is uneven, I have just a piece of cardboard with the mouse pad on top, which is weird because it gives the mouse pad more of a kind of spongy action. So I have to have a different calibration to my mouse at home to the one I have here, where the desk is hard and the mouse is on that, even though it's the same mouse and mouse pad, which is very weird indeed. So I tend to play better here, but even better at LAN.